Okay.
Let me know when we get some.
Brian,
Yes, Jim.
Daphne's coming.
Okay.
Okay. There she goes. I called her.
Good morning.
Morning, Deb. We're just about to get started.
Okay.
We are on.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. This is Brian Tarian here from the Disability Digest. Thanks for joining this week's event. Today, we are going to talk about maximizing your Social Security disability benefits. I have my trusted confidants, coworkers here, and we're going to talk about what's new for 2024 benefits, what you can do to understand your current benefits, compare them to your future benefits, different ways that you can save on current expenses, all of that. So welcome, and thanks for joining. So my special guests here today are Mr. Philip Price, is back for the first time in a while. For those of you that don't know
Hi,
Philip, he's been in and around here for 5-something years, helping people keep and maximize their disability benefits. He, prior to this, was a carpenter for a long time, doing some really cool custom carpentry work. So great to have you with us, Philip.
Good to be back.
Yeah, and
Yes.
Daphne Graff is
Hi.
here. Daphne is a licensed insurance agent that's been here since, what, 2020, Daph, right?
Yes, 2020.
Helping everybody understand what their Medicare options are, getting them into plans, reviewing them every year, and it's a delight to have you with us here.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Yes. And then if you've been here before, you may recognize Miss Jam, who is here.
Hi, everyone.
Jam's been here for, oh, well, what, a year and 4 months, 5 months, something like that.
Yes.
Prior to coming here, worked for United Healthcare, has a bachelor's in science and nutrition, dietetics. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, and does a wonderful job relating to our members and helping understand their situation, communicating how we can help them out. So wonderful. And so for all of you listening out there today, we're going to go through some of the key points that I mentioned. And at the end, you will have the opportunity to ask some questions. So you have a lot of experience here. So if there's anything that you're thinking of that, you know, is on your mind that you've been looking for or would like to know more about, put your question in and we'll take as many as we can in the time that we have. Yeah. So, all right. That's what we have on tap today, right? Good. So let's get started and get into it. The reason why we're doing this is the time of year, in my opinion and experience after doing this since 2006, when you have the biggest opportunity to get set up properly for your benefits in 2024. And if you're not approved for disability, this week's event and especially next week's event and helping you understand what you're entitled to will be beneficial for you. All right. So first, I'll just kind of go around and call on you randomly with some things that I think that would important to go through. And Daphne, let's start with you. I want to help the audience understand like situations and options in their area, like what may prompt some changes for people, changes in their benefits. You help people understand that?
Oh, yeah. Things happen all throughout the year. And some of the things that people want is dental. Then maybe they will. I just had someone call me. They want me to check into more dental for them. All kind of problems come up with people, and they may just want to know if there's any more out there for them. They're hearing about this flex dollars. They're
Yeah.
hearing about these cards that other people are getting, and they want to know if there's any additional funding out there for them. So
Mhm.
yes, those type of things will prompt people. And then some people, they just want to know if there's a plan out there that they can at least, change their doctors or change your hospital. I just had a gentleman call me, and he's tired of going to the hospital that he's going to. He wants to know what its options were. So those are the type of things that can prompt. But
Mhm.
in my experience, anything can prompt a person just to call and find out if their plan is still feasible for them.
Mhm. Mhm. So let's go back to the dental for a minute. If somebody's dental, let's say they have, I don't know, dental coverage on a plan this year, but they know next year they're going to have a lot of dental, right?
Right. Mhm.
So is this a situation or an example of somebody that is or would contact you and say, hey, I need a root canal and it's going to cost me a fortune. What can I do to up my dental?
Oh, yes. I just got that call this morning.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
One other thing on this, Daphne, can you speak to the conditions that people may have as new diagnoses? Is that the right word? Diagnoses or
Yes.
diagnosis? I think it's
Yeah,
diagnosis.
diagnosis is fine.
Yeah,
Just
like
this
that.
morning,
Yeah.
just this morning, I got a call from someone who the doctor said that he has rheumatoid arthritis, and they were sending him for all kind of tests. So whatever melody that you have out there, and you think that the Social Security would need to know about it, right? Those are the type of things, arthritis, autoimmune deficiencies, uh,
Mhm.
those type of things. Somebody might have fibromyalgia. Someone might have a bad case of diabetes. So yes, those are the type of things that would warrant you calling and asking questions about your plan, whether your plan is going to be able to cover what you're going through.
Right. Now, there's special plans for certain conditions.
Right.
Not all conditions, but special ones.
Mhm.
How could you help, like generally help people understand that? Because I know it's a pretty broad topic.
Okay. There's a plan out there called the chronic special needs plan. And that is when someone has diabetes, heart disease, anything that a malady that's going to be very like chronic for them.
Mhm.
So we call it the C plan. And all you have to do is do a verification from your doctor that you have that problem that you're talking about or that chronic disease, and you can get it on a special needs plan. Special needs plans are very, very good. A lot of the co-pays are $0 for people who are on it. I just described it the other day. I said, my client asked me, well, what's the difference? I said, just think about a Cadillac. The special needs plans is a Cadillac, and you might be driving the Honda right now. So, so let's go for the Cadillac. So there's a lot more that's in the special needs plan. And then if you have Medicaid and Medicare, those are dual plans. It has to be full Medicaid though. It cannot be the spend down Medicaid.
Mhm.
So those right there will prompt you to change your plan. If you have gotten Medicaid along the way, we really need to know about that so that we can look for the dual special needs plan for you.
Right. So I'm hearing two things. There's conditions, certain conditions will put you into the Cadillac of plans, if you will. And then also those that are on Medicaid and Medicare.
Right.
It's the other category. Okay. I have Philip was kind enough to send me his notice of change. And so I'm going to pull that up on the screen, but what advice do you have for Medicare recipients out there about their notice at this time of year before we get into some of the details here?
Are you speaking with Philip or myself?
Well, I was speaking to you actually.
Oh, okay. Well, the notice of change is going to basically tell you whether you're, let's say, if you were getting maximum out-of-pocket increase of like this plan right here, the maximum out-of-pocket is the same, right? So some people, they experience a maximum out-of-pocket almost up to $8,000 or so. So that could change. The doctor visits are normally at $0. And if you find that your doctor's visits have increased, that might be something that you want to check into, especially with the specialists. Specialists are running, some of the plans are running you from $40 to $50 to see a specialist. Inpatient hospitalization is another one that is pretty stable. My client this morning said that his going to the emergency room went up to $100 from $90, and it went up to like $120. And he said, well, it's no big deal, but check and see if anything else is going to go up on him. So those are the type of things that you want to really, really look at. You're going to have a lot of things in there, like your colonoscopies, mammograms, things like that. Those are normally at $0 cost to you, but you still want to check, want to make sure that you still have the gym, silver sneakers still in your plan. Yeah. You want to make sure that your medications that you're able to get certain medications. One of my clients called me recently, 2 of her medications, and the most important 2, they're dropping them, so she's not going to be able to get them. And so she wants me to look at a plan where she can get those medications. So those are things that you definitely want to make sure that has not changed on you. So with the notice of change, it's very good because they're putting your 2023 costs and your 2024 costs right there for you to see whether there's any big changes or not going on. And right now, when I'm looking at Phillips, looks like Phillips is probably about the same.
Yeah, it is. So that's good. So in addition, so make sure you read it, of course. And if they don't have it, somebody doesn't have one of these.
They can get it from the provider, which is whichever company they're with. It doesn't take much to just get that from the provider.
So they could probably call in a number on the back of their card, you think?
Yeah, the number on the back of their card, and just ask them to send it to you by email, and they will.
Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, the only other thing I could think of is we talked about medications. Sometimes the doctors' networks will shift, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, some of them, one of my clients just sent me a notification from a hospital saying that several of the doctors will no longer be accepting his provider. So we've got to look for now a new plan where his providers will be in the network.
Okay, good.
But normally they give you notification. I just spoke with another client who did not get any notification. She just happened to be at the hospital for one of her, for one of her checkups. And they told her right then and there, they're not accepting that provider anymore. We're not doing business with them anymore. And she said, well, where's my letter? Why didn't you notify me? and the
Mhm.
lady could not give her a good excuse of why she wasn't notified.
Mhm.
So you need to also, baby, call the different places that you go to, your doctor, your hospital, and stuff. Just check and make sure that they still accept your, your plan, that you're not going to have any problems with it for the 2024.
Mhm. Okay. Daphne, thank you for that. Jim, I'd like to switch over to you for a minute. I know you've reviewed lots and lots of plans and speaking to people every day and their benefits.
Right.
Like, what are some of the benefits that stand out to you that you've heard about that people maybe have, they're not aware of, or they might want?
Right. There are no premium Medicare Advantage plans that offer additional perks, such as gym memberships, shopping credits, like over the counter, and dental, vision, and hearing coverage, like what you have mentioned, and Daphne as well. Some even offers Part B give back or buyback, and one of the extra benefits that some Medicare Advantage plans offer is the Part B give back or buyback, and that this means that the plan will reduce or eliminate your Part B premium, which is the amount you pay to Medicare every month, which is the 164.90 dollar for your medical insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And another one that struck me also, Daphne mentioned this, which is the Flex card, and this is a prepaid debit card. Am I right, Daph? That
Yes.
you can use, right? That you can use to pay for certain healthcare expenses such as co-pays, deductibles, and co-insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And a Flex card can help you save money and give you more flexibility in choosing your healthcare providers as well.
Yes.
So, mhm. So these plans are designed to help you stay healthy, active, and comfortable without breaking the bank. And you might be surprised to learn that you could already be enrolled in one of these plans without realizing it. And to find out if you're eligible for these benefits, you can check your plan details online, or you can call your plan provider. If you're not in one of these plans, you might want to consider switching during the open enrollment period that runs from October 15 up until December 7. And if you want to switch from one Medicare Advantage plan to another, you can also have that done from January 1st to March 31st each year.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. I have, Daphne, you used the term Cadillac. This might even be a step above it. This benefit that I had found for a member here. This is it is a card, but it's $200 every month that pays. You can use it for groceries or utility bills. I mean,
Mhm.
it's what I find interesting about this whole thing, and maybe some of you can echo this that have done this for a while, and the time that I've done this since 2006, started paying attention really to Medicare like 6 or 7 years in. It used to be that Medicare coverage, like Medicare Part C Advantage plans, were for your doctors and hospitals and medications. But what I've seen in the last 4 or 5 years is they've really transitioned into a benefit package.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Like your check, if you're a disability recipient, your check is going to go up by the cost of living increase. That's it, right? There's not like if you get another condition or something else, it's just it doesn't change. So this is really an area where there's some optimism. So thanks.
Brian, can I say something about the Part B give back?
Yeah.
The Part B give back, you have to be very careful with that, because a lot of times when they're giving you a give back, they're going to get it back somehow by giving you very high fees to see your specialist, or they might even include a medical deductible in that plan.
Right.
So whereas you think you're getting additional money for your Part B premium, you're giving it back somewhere along the way in that plan. So you really have to check that plan, make sure that it's going to be feasible for you.
Yeah, I think that is a great point. One thing I would add on that is consider your health when you're considering your coverage,
Mhm.
because if you don't have to go to the doctors a lot, like, maybe you have somebody, your spouse or somebody is aging into Medicare and they're just like taking an aspirin or something, they're fine. Then something like this that could be a great feature. But if you need to go to the doctors and you've got a health situation, I agree, you gotta be careful. All right, so thank you, Jim. Daphne, back to you for a minute. And for those of you out there, I'm sure you're waiting and waiting and waiting to hear from Philip, and you will in a minute.
Of course they are.
But we've gone through some different concepts here. Can you speak to the people about the plan and benefit availability based on where they're located, like even zip code and
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Oh, yes. It really depends on where you are located, your zip code. I just spoke with a young lady that lives in Chicago, and she has Medicaid and she has Medicare. And we went to look for a special needs plan for her, and there were no special needs plan. If she had been down here in Florida, where I'm located, she probably would have had over 23 special needs plans. So it really depends on where you're at. I also spoke to someone about the zip code in Miami. Miami gets a lot of $0 copays for their whenever they have to go to the doctor for just about anything, and they don't even have to be on a special needs plan to get those $0 copays. It's just by being in their zip code area that they're getting those benefits. So the zip code really depends on what you're going to get in your plan.
Yeah, that's a good point. And if you're wondering why, like, these plans are zero premium and all these benefits, when you have a regular Medicare, like your A and B card, when you just start that red, white, and blue one, when you leave and you go into a Medicare Advantage plan, your healthcare is managed by that company, be it United Healthcare, Aetna, Humana, Cigna, whatever it is. And so they're now paid, these companies, by Medicare to manage your healthcare. And so if you think about it from a business perspective, the denser the population, the more people they can get on a plan, the better deal they can get, the more efficient they can run, the better benefits there are, the lower co-pays, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
Like, here in Vermont, I think probably in one county in Florida, there's more people than there are in the whole state of Vermont. So the plans are not they don't have these, same benefits.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, people have talked to me about, like, even moving. I mean, it could be that big of a difference where you're located.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, without further ado, before we do that, one more thing, folks. If for those of you that are out there listening, wherever you are, if you're listening on Facebook or on our YouTube channel and you have a question, we're going to do a Q&A in a few moments so you can ask anybody on the panel here today. Just enter your question in the chat, and our criteria that we are good at answering questions is general disability, getting, keeping, and maximizing. So if it's outside of that, well, can't help you with walking your dog or all that stuff. So, but we will definitely do that. All right. Okay. Philip, how you doing?
Good.
All right. Talking about maximizing disability benefits, job and income opportunities, what insights can you share with people about starting with the basics. Can they work? Can they not work? How much money can they make? Ideas, concepts, strategies, tips, that type of stuff.
Okay. Well, I get this question comes up a lot in my Facebook group, and it's, can I work? There's two aspects. Can I work and apply? And once I apply and if I'm approved, can I work and earn extra money? And the answer is yes, you can. If you're applying and you're still working, there are some guidelines you need to follow, and keep in mind that if you're going to work, first of all, you're applying for disability because you're telling Social Security that you're unable to work or maintain a job that gives you enough income to survive off of. But if
Right.
you're working any at all, it presents the argument for Social Security to say, well, why do you need disability?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Really need to, do your homework and delve into the rules and regulations of working while you're applying. They limit or your hours of work. You need to keep it around 20 hours or less a week. Your income, there's a line that Social Security says you can't cross financially. It's a dollar amount, and that dollar amount is as of 2023, it's $1,470 a month.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That you can earn and still apply.
Mm-hmm.
Go over that amount consistently, then they're going to look at it and say, well, you're not disabled, you can still work and earn. It's called SGA, substantial gainful activity. There's some numbers here I was going to go over that are really eye-opening. First of all, in 2023, the maximum benefit amount that somebody on disability could receive is $3,627 a month. That's the max. And that's up from last year of $3,345. Now, the average benefit that somebody actually receives across the country is $1,483 a month, which is just a hair above the national poverty level. The national poverty level is $14,580 a year, which breaks down to $1,215 a month.
Okay.
So if you think about it, that's barely the $1,483 a month is barely above the national poverty. So my point is, who can survive off of that? If you're paying rent or mortgage, light, groceries, doctor bills,
Mm-hmm.
all that adds up over over the course of a month, and you run out of money before you run out of month.
Mm-hmm.
And it's difficult. So a lot of I guess what I'm getting at is a lot of people have to subsidize their disability by working, trying to get a part-time job, and you can do that. Again, you got to abide by the rules. You can earn up to that $1,470 a month in a part-time job and not affect your benefit amount. But again, if you consistently earn right up to that $1,470 a month, it's going to throw up red flags, and Social Security is going to be taking a look at it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And could possibly generate what's called a CDR, continuing disability review.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want those. You're going to get it if you're on disability. You're going to get them regardless,
Mm-hmm.
because they're scheduled every 3 years or 7 years, or from what I'm understanding, now they're going to do it. They're pushing for every year.
Mhm.
So anyway, to answer the question, yeah, you can work. You just need to follow the rules.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why we are here, is to help you understand those rules, because we want you to get your benefits, 2, keep them, and then 3, maximize them with your extra benefits through your Medicare coverage.
Yeah. Well done. Well done. Thank you for that contribution. So just a heads up for those of you in the audience, there is information about the regulation, about how much money you can make while you're going through the approval process that Philip was talking about, and then how much money you can make once you're approved. There are 2 different figures. So, Jam, I don't know if it's possible for you to put that link in the chat, but that would be wonderful for those that want to do a deep dive. So
Sure.
good. So appreciate that. I want to talk about how to keep your benefits. A few tips on that, and this is really a boiled down version of what I've learned since I've been doing this. And there's like 192,000 people here, so it's not like my perspective. But to really maximize your benefits, there's a few key things that you should not do. One is, I encourage everybody to, my new term is find your juice. And not like the juice that you're going to drink, but what I mean by juice is, what is it that you can do that will give you a sense of purpose, get you up, motivated, make a difference. I think perhaps Daphne and Philip can attest to this. Some of the challenges that people face that are going through the process and then become recipients is there's a lot of free time. When you're approved, you get a little money, and you develop some habits that commonly are less desirable, like too much social media, TV. You fall out of your social network, so you're not speaking with the same people, diet, drinking, that type of stuff. So the best advice that I have, and watching people that have done very well and going through this and still contributing and being grateful for where they're at, is to find your juice. And I say juice because there's this Dr. Alice McGarry, who has a book that's a bestseller now. It's called A Life Well Lived. I've covered other videos, but you can check it out, A Life Well Lived. She's 102 years old, and for her professional career, she has worked with people as a doctor to help them find their juice, like what it is that they can do. So if you're sitting there and saying, I can't work, it can't, it's not work. As long as you're alive, from her perspective, you can do that. So I spent a lot of time on that. A few other quick notes are: protect your benefits, folks. You got to keep going to the doctors. You have to prove, once you're approved, the same thing while you're going through the approval process. Many people fall into bad habits there. So make sure you understand the doctoring, getting your limitations in your medical records, getting on the right plan that we're talking about here today, so you can do all that. That's a key component. Philip touched on the rules. I'm not going to spend any more time on that, but make sure you know the rules. People get in overpayment situations. The scrutiny is very, very tight right now, so just make sure you understand the rules. And we're here today to help you understand all that you're entitled to, so stay tuned for that. So those are some of my tips that I've condensed from others that are out there. So there's 2 other things before we get on to some of the other benefits here. For those of you that are out there maybe struggling with some medication costs, I know Daphne and Philip, you've helped others like get out of their medication costs with 2 different programs. You care to speak to that? putting you on the spot perhaps, but
Well, the one is the Extra Help Program. And
yeah.
that is administered by the Social Security Administration. And some people get it automatically based on what their income is, and others have to apply for it. And it's normally if you're making up to about 1,500, and I've heard someone that was making a little bit less than 1,600, and they were able to get on the Extra Help Program. And basically, you get very, very reasonably priced medications by being on that program. Very big, to me, it's very big discounts in your medication. So you definitely want to check and see if you can qualify for that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What about if they don't qualify for that? What other ways are there? You know, like we've talked, I believe we covered it before, but going to the manufacturer.
Yes.
There's state programs that help you. You go to the manufacturer, you see if there's a discount from them, if they have a patient's assistance program.
Mhm.
And the large manufacturers, most of them do have patient's assistance programs, and you can probably get your medications for $0 cost. But you have to check into these things to see. A lot of people tell me they use Good RX, and they get very good discounts through that program. And
Good.
there's other medication cards like Optimum that comes to your house, and you could use that. Just go to your pharmacy and see what the discount is versus you using your plan versus the discount for the card, and see what it comes up to.
Okay. Philip, anything to add to that?
Yeah, just if you're like myself and you're diabetic, you take insulin. Those that use insulin know it can get very expensive.
Mhm.
You can get there's good coverage through the Medicare Advantage plans. I mean, the law now is you don't pay more than $35 a month for your insulin. Sorry, somebody's at the door. If you, like Daphne said, you can contact these manufacturers like Lilly Care Foundation, Patient Assistance Program, Sonify, who is another manufacturer. They have these patient assistance. You have to apply. If your income is below a certain level, then you can qualify and get your insulin for $0. I use it. It's a little bit of work. You're gonna have to put some work into it because you have to qualify every year, or you have to reapply every year, and it takes a little effort on your part. You have to go to your doctor and get them to fill out the application, put all the pertinent information in there, and then write a prescription for it or send a prescription with it. Now the doctors can do all this themselves if you inform them, let them know that you want to apply for these programs. But I have it easier myself. That way I know it gets there. Depending on somebody else to do it for me, so I do it myself. But yeah, it saves you a ton of money.
Okay.
And
Right.
not the insulin, but I'm also a transplant recipient, so I have to take injection medicines, and the same thing. Those medicines are 3 times as expensive as insulin is. And I go straight to the manufacturer of those and get those in the patient assistance program also.
So if you're listening out there and you're on any type of medication and it's not covered, you just got some very valuable tips, right? Thank you. Thank you. Two things that I want to go through before we start taking some questions. We've covered information about reviewing your current plan. I want to go through and just give you a basic understanding of how you can go out to Medicare.gov and compare your plan versus others so that you can do this work on your own and check it out. So I don't, I'm just going to pull up medicare.gov, and perhaps with the assistance of some of our experts here, we can give a quick example of how you do that. So let me get my program going here. I seem to have lost my Zoom room. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is medicare.gov, and you can do this wherever you are out there. So Daphne, do you happen to know a zip code there that I could use in the Miami area?
33027.
Okay, so we're going to go to find health and drug
Oh,
plans.
excuse me. Let me give you one for Miami, 33196.
Okay, I think, why am I in here? Oh, okay. So then you want to select 24, right?
Yes.
And that was what?
331. Try 33196.
33196. And of course, if you are in whatever your zip code, you want to customize it for that. And then Medicare Advantage. Now, also next week, we're going to talk about Medigap and Part D and other parts of Medicare, but 99% of the people here at the Disability Digest are on a Medicare Advantage plan. So that's why this is tailored to it. So I'm just going to go through the options here of I don't receive help. So it just shows me quickly gets me into the plans, and I don't want to see drug costs at this time. So then you'll arrive at a screen like this. And a few quick things that you'll realize here is you'll see that there's 53 plans in this area. And when you start to scroll down, you'll see how they're all listed in a brief explanation of each, right? So we talked about today that there are some Cadillac plans, if you will, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to look for the Cadillac plans, they're not in a standard view. You've got to go over to this tab here that says special needs. Now, the special needs plans could be for condition related, or it could be because of your income. If your income is typically below $1,500. So just for sake of example, I'm going to use the one that is special needs plans for income. I'm going to check the box, and remember there were 53 plans here when we started. I'm going to select apply, and that number goes to 83.
Wow.
So my math tells me that there's 30 plans for people that are Medicare, Medicaid eligible, that are different, I will say, likely better than the others. So then if I look at the ones for conditions, it goes to 65, 43 to 65. Who wants to do the math? A lot.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of break down the options and where to look, and they don't sort these special needs plans out. You have to go through all the plans to do that. So that's one sorting criteria. If you want to see, I'm just going to remove all these. If you want to see the top performing plans in the area, you can select by stars. The higher the star rating, the more popular or better performance that the plan has had. Social Security's calling me. I wonder what for. All right. So then if we look here at the star ratings, there's 31 of these plans. I would consider that a lot, wouldn't you, folks?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's 4 stars and above.
Okay, well, this isn't quite right because it says stars coming soon. They don't have their
That's the one for
stars.
2024.
Yeah, all right. So usually you'll see stars here, like clearly stars. But that's a good indication of what plans perform well. Any other quick tips that you would suggest for our audience to help them do, like sorting through, figuring out, comparing? No?
Yeah.
No.
I have one last one. Let's say that you're looking through this and you're like, oh, wow, this Humana plan looks really good. There's a little box down here that you can check, and you can compare up to 3 plans. So you can compare that one to, let's say, the Cigna plan, right? You can do up to 3, but I'll just do these 2. And then it'll put them like right side by side where you can go through and look, right?
Mhm.
So to recap, go to your zip code, just go through to the plans, understand your situation, if you might be eligible for a special need plan or not. I'd look there first to try to find them. And then also the higher the star, the better the rating. Start doing some comparison, and that'll give you a basic version. Of course, we can't teach you how to do everything that is involved in a full benefit review that is done here just because of time, but hopefully this will give you a get started. So
Brian,
yes,
let me just add that if a plan is rated 5 stars, you have a special enrollment period once that for the year to get into the 5-star plan. So if you just tired of your plan and you don't have a special enrollment period, just look for something that has 5 stars and see if it's something that will be feasible for you.
good tip. Good point. Last thing before we start going through and taking questions is here at the Disability Digest for members, we do review their benefits. It's what I've showed you here today. And it's part of your no charge membership. We will do it. You need to request it. But frankly, we're not able to get to everybody because we only can really manage like 12, maybe 15 a month, and there's 192,000 here. So our model anyways, we try to give everything away. But I do want you to know that if you are a member, existing member, then you can request a benefit review. And if you're not an existing client of ours, if we can get to you this year, great. If we can't, we'll certainly let you know. But I do want to go through the benefits. If you do get in, you get accepted and you're reviewed, and you do go forward with a suggestion that we provide, there are additional benefits that our clients that we are managing their Medicare are entitled to. So I want to go through and point those out. The first one is, Daphne, I'm going to go back to you on this for a minute, is we talked about plans that are available for people that have health conditions. But pretty much everybody here at the Disability Digest has health conditions, whether they do qualify for a plan or not. So how could you explain to people the difference that working with somebody or a group like us, the value that we bring to the table and helping them get properly covered versus somebody that may be an option for Medicare enrollment, a Medicare agent, that doesn't work with people with conditions?
Well, Philip and I, we're both on Medicare disability. So we do understand what you're going through. We're going to help you get the best plan well, they don't want us to use that word best, so let me not say best. We're going to get the plan that's most cost effective for you, okay? That has the greater amount of benefits for you with the least cost. We don't want you paying for plans, if it's not $0 premium plans, we're going to look for you, because when we're looking for you, it's just like looking for ourselves. We're not going to fall into plans where we have to pay significant for our specialists. So we're going to look for I don't want to use the word best. Let me just leave it at, we're looking for the most cost-effective plan for you.
Right.
Okay.
Good. So you can relate because you've been there. And even
yes.
if you're talking with somebody that is not a disability recipient here, all day, every day, we speak with people that unfortunately have some type of either injury or sickness. And so that's just what we do. One thing I do want to point out is that if you are going to have your benefits reviewed by anybody this year, that there is a regulation that requires that you sign what's called a scope of appointment, right?
Mhm.
So if somebody comes to you and says, well, I want you to sign a form, it's not an obligation, just read through it. It's pretty simple. But it is a lot. If somebody comes and reviews your benefits and they haven't done this, I'd raise the flag, because everybody has to adhere to the same rules. So the next benefit that we have for those that are clients, in addition to the personalized service, is special events. And it would only be appropriate if I had this segment addressed by Jam. And you'll learn why in a moment.
Yes, we have an event called Jam Session, hosted by none other, me, myself, and I. And it's a virtual event where premium members gather and share their experiences and offer advice to other members regarding some challenges they're facing. And these events can help you learn more about your plan options, get tips on how to save money and manage your health, and especially connect with other members who share your interests.
Yeah, well said. And unlike this event, where you're definitely welcome to engage, and we'll take questions in a few moments, it is an open Zoom room where you can actually talk and meet others and network. So thank you, Jam, for hosting those and sharing that.
Of course.
The next benefit that we provide to our Medicare clients is what we refer to as a benefit protection program. If you're a disability recipient, as Philip explained, you're going to be subject to a reviews up until the time that you're full retirement age. And how our benefit protection program works is we help you prepare for your review. When you get your review, we assist you with directions on what to do to fill out the forms and how to respond. If you unfortunately are faced with a situation where your case is denied, goes back to court, then we will further assist there by allowing you access to our legal team, the same team that helps people get approved. And so it's an extra layer of support. Now, it is included for our Medicare clients at no charge. And all the legal fees and that is all covered. If your case goes to court, we cover the first $500 of legal fees, which is typically enough. Now, we do this at no charge because we're paid to manage your Medicare benefits. Just telling you straight up. It's part of the insurance industry's built-in commission structure. Although your plan premium is typically zero, there's still money involved and we get paid. So in order for us to continue to get paid, we want to make sure that you stay in your Social Security disability benefits, because you could get removed from your Medicare. So that's where the win-win is. And there certainly are some expectations that you need to adhere to. The many of it we talked about here today, doctoring, not earning too much, so that you stay in compliance with the benefit protection. But listen, folks, this could save you thousands of dollars. If you have to hire an attorney to get your benefits back, finding one is difficult. Not many people do the work, and they will likely charge similar to what it costs to get approved, $5,000 to $7,000. so it's no charge, right? So the last thing that I just want to share with you is, we are committed to doing this. We partner with some of the top insurance companies in the industry. We don't work with all of them. And my opinion and experience, when you're looking at benefits that are out there, you might see some company come onto the scene with, a benefit that could walk your dog and be just really a wow factor. But what I've learned is that, they may be a good company. I'm not saying that they're not, but I've found it better if you stick with those companies that have been doing this for a while. Their customer service is in place, their networks are pretty good, and that's who we are committed to working with in doing this. So Jam and Philip, we're going to get ready to start taking some questions here in a minute, but I just want to recap some of the key points that we've gone over here today, which is specifically with the benefit protection program. We've talked about tailored support and how that can help you. We've talked about networking, special events that you have. We've talked about the benefit protection program and the quality aspect of who we work with. So that's the benefit protection program. All right. Ready to do some Q&A?
Yes. First question from Pastor James. At the age of 49 years old, what happens to our private health insurance after we are approved for Social Security disability? Are we allowed to continue to remain on our family members' insurance?
Daphne, you want to have a swing at this? Philip?
Oh, yes. Yes, you can stay on your family member's insurance. Right now, I'm on my husband's insurance, and I also have my Medicare. I use his insurance as my primary, and my Medicare is my secondary. I still pay for the Part B premium. I do get a discount from one of the plans that gives me $120 towards my Part B premium. So it lessens the amount of money that's coming out my check every month. So you have no problem staying on your insurance of your family member.
Mm-hmm. Good question. Good answer.
Thank you, Dab. I was approved after 7 years, but with no back pay. My lawyer advised against appealing, but I'm not sure I can live with this. Any hope for appeals, or do I just try to make the best of being condemned?
Well, the only one that I really know that's been successful is Philip. His name is escaping me down.
Mike.
Mike. Yeah. It's super risky to appeal it because Social Security has just stopped all benefits after you've been approved. We've actually had it happen with somebody that we were working on. We had to go back to court and we were able to get the benefits reinstated. So you have to really weigh it out. And based on the information that I have, the best thing that I'm just trying to help you understand is it's possible, but there is a risk involved.
All right. From Sarah Spencer, I notified SSDI that I was going to try to help my husband start his home-based business 3 months ago. I just got a disability update report. I have taken a 10-day marketing computer training, but we have not made any money yet, and I am working about 10 to 13 hours a week building out his website. Very slow process, so I don't know how to fill out the report. Do you work for someone, or are you self-employed? And have you attended any school or work training program?
Yeah.
I'm just going to offer my opinion. There's no certainty because this is very general information, but you're starting a business. I don't know if you're working for anybody. That piece I cannot answer, but there was a special training question in there.
Yes.
Yeah, so you'd need to answer that one consistent with taking your training. You're in a low risk zone in my experience because you're not making money. You're just really helping out and working the 13 hours a week. So I do the best you can, be as honest as you can to get that answered, completed, and back.
All right. Thank you, Brian. How often does Medicare review eligibility for extra help status? Letter said I'm eligible for 2024, but I know it shouldn't continue. Part D CSR said that means I get it for all of 2024. Is it true?
Daphne, you know this?
I'm trying to understand the question. Is that,
Right. So it sounds to me like the question is, there's a Medicare status. How often is it reviewed?
For extra help.
well, I think that during the course of the year, when it's probably like in January, they're doing a lot of reviews because of the cost of living increase. January and February, you'll probably get reviews, or you'll probably be told that you no longer qualify for the extra help program because now it's kicked your income above the level of what you need for being on the special help program. So you'll probably find that the majority of the reviews are being done the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And I do have a lot of clients who were kicked off of the extra help program because their income went above the 1550. So is that the type of question that the person was asking?
It's my understanding.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Philip, you have
Right.
anything going on in your group?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Okay. Next question. Good morning. I applied and got denied. I'm currently going through a reconsideration process. The entire process is taking so long. My condition is pulmonary fibrosis and I'm on oxygen. Statement.
Statement. Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're not a member here at the Disability Digest, we invite you to join and get into the disability approval course that has a specific section about what you should be doing at this level of for your case so that you can maximize your chances of getting approved.
All right, here's a statement from Bobby Bow. Applicants realize after they get their disability benefits that is enough to pay their bills. He can never double dip on government agencies. Some disability person thinks Social Security won't find out if they are working, but Social Security has access to your income through the IRS.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
You can run, but you cannot hide.
All right. Still a statement, but I believe worth mentioning. I haven't worked in 27 months. I'm 47 years old with bone-to-bone knees needing bilateral knee replacements with severe osteoarthritis. And I have a home health aide that does almost everything for me.
So this person hasn't applied?
Not sure.
It
Yeah.
could be on SSI too. If they have the home health
Right.
aid, it may be on SSI.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, if you haven't applied for disability, you should. I don't know. Usually those agencies push you to do it.
The only thing
Right.
about that is having the work credits.
Right.
Okay. Francine, I was awarded partial disability and now is going back for reconsideration process because some errors was found in the judge's decision and now it's going through a reconsideration. Is that good or bad?
I seldom hear of that. So I don't know if it's good or bad. Interesting that somebody found the judges made some errors, which I know they do. I don't have an opinion on that.
Neither do I.
Rhonda, would it be presumptuous to contact my state representative when I am waiting for my approval? It has been 15 months and I am still at 90% for 2 weeks, and I do have a lawyer to help. Thank you.
I would check with your attorney and make sure that you have all of the necessary evidence in your case file to get approved. And if you don't know what the necessary evidence is, then our disability approval course can help you do it. And if it is, everything's there, all your doctor's support, your conditions are pointed, all that, then I definitely go for it. 15 months is ridiculous for a decision. And the only, just to reinforce where my apprehension would be, is if you have a chance to quickly get in some evidence that should be in there that would really be important to make a difference, and you can do that in a few weeks and then contact your representative, then I would wait to make sure it's done right.
All right. I didn't know that at the age below 65, you cannot get, or is it difficult to get Medigap policies? Your open enrollment period at age 65 does not go away. I had to get a Part C.
The only question that really stood out there to me was getting a Medigap policy. Is this, if you, I'll speak to it this way. If you're a Social Security disability recipient, you can get a Medigap policy. They're also known as Medicare supplements. They're not common. I know of 2 people actually in the time that I've been doing this work that chose that, and it made sense for them. There are some advantages, but there's 2 typical roadblocks. And this will be covered in more detail next week when industry expert Mark Sneerowicz joins us. But one is the cost. It's usually like ridiculous. Could be $300-500 a month. And then there's the medical underwriting, which is different in every state. Depends how long that, when you're applying for it, if you're newly approved. So there's some variables there. And some conditions are like, as far as I know, you can't get in if you have like rheumatoid arthritis. It's just doesn't pass the medical underwriting. So those are a few things about the Medigap. The advantages are, if you can swing the price and you get in, you can go to any doctor, anywhere, anytime. That takes Medicare.
All right, thank you, Brian. I have Medicare and Medicaid, and I am at poverty level. Do I still qualify for extra help, or do I even need it?
Oh, you automatically get it if you have Medicaid. That person that has Medicaid and Medicare will automatically get the extra help.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's full Medicaid, sometimes they're on the Medicaid, the spend down, and they have to go through qualifications for the extra help. A lot of them do. There's a plan out there for the medically needy. That's part of the Medicaid plans, and they're not full Medicaid. You have to do spend downs, but you also have to do a comparison with these programs, because sometimes the spend down is not even worth it. You have to come up with $2,000 or $3,000 before it kicks in, and it doesn't really make any sense to have it.
If I'd like to, I'm asking you this in public, and I probably shouldn't, but have you, if we could, come back sometime and do just a Medicaid, like on the different flavors of Medicaid and the spend down. Just that one thing would be interesting. Yeah. Thank you. So for the 477 that I see out there on YouTube, and I don't know how many on Facebook, thank you for joining. We're doing a Q&A that Jim is doing a wonderful job. So if you have a question, We have a few more minutes. Enter your question in. We'll do the best we can to answer it before we wrap up for the day.
All right. Could you ever lose your SSI after reaching the age of retirement?
I don't want to say that you can't. You could.
You could lose it.
Yeah.
I've spoken to someone who was 72 and they wanted to take it away because he had too much money in his banking account. If
Right.
you're going over their limit of $2,000, they will cut you off.
Right. Right. Or if you happen to take a walk down the matrimony route and marry somebody who's got some money, that'll definitely,
Yes.
yeah, take you off of benefits.
They have to realize that Medicaid is based on your income and your assets, right? So if those things change and they do it on a annual basis, the recertification, if those things change, then you could be kicked off of it.
Yep. Boy, we're getting some good questions.
Yes, we are. All right. I have another one. Work comp has lifetime pension. Question mark. I've been injured in my job, multiple body parts, and I recently been diagnosed for TBI.
All right. What's the question? First statement.
I think the first part, work comp has lifetime pension.
Yeah, some do. Yeah. So workers' compensation can pay you monthly for a long time, or for a closed period of time, or a lump sum. Yep.
All right. With severe adult FAS and degenerative arthritis, polyarthralgia, both blue-listing disabilities, why am I not approved? I have been diagnosed for both by a specialist. I'm in reconsideration, new hearing date this month, need advice. SSA keeps taking my literal age into consideration instead of my physically destroyed body's age.
How old is he? Philip, you want to take a swing at this one?
Well, diagnosis is one thing if you can show the diagnosis through your medical records, but what you have to show Social Security is how those diagnoses keep you from being able to work. And depending on his age, you mentioned the age, that could be a big factor also, because if you're younger, your ability to be able to perform certain tasks or jobs will have an effect on their decision whether you're 100% disabled or not.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm assuming that probably haven't proved his limitations or shown his limitations
Yeah.
clearly.
And also a follow-up question. How far back can I get back pay for a severe birth-born disability?
All right. Anybody want to answer that one?
I know that one.
Well, they're only going to go back 12
12
months
months.
filing.
Right. Yeah. So that is the maximum amount. Like the person that's been out of work for 27 months, if they have not applied yet, every month you wait, you're leaving money over at the Social Security coffers. So keep in mind that there's only so far you can go back. So it's good to take action to lock that down. Yeah.
All right. Here's a question from Sherry. I believe it's regarding our benefit protection service program. Is that what the CDR is for, the review? Because I haven't worked since I received disability in 2017.
So if I understand, is the question is a CDR about the review?
Yes.
Yes, so the CDR acronym stands for Continuing Disability Review, which is the review. So they're reviewing you to see if they should continue your disability. So that would be yes.
All right. Concerning the extra help, does the spouse's income count towards the extra help?
Yes.
All right. Can I enroll in Medicare when my 2-year anniversary for benefits comes up, which is in April of 2024?
Yes. Just make sure that you're working with the correct date. It's not the date that you were found disabled. It is the top line on your award letter that will have language that will say you are entitled to benefits on a certain month. Entitled to.
All right. I'm at 70% of my decision of being diagnosed with a MPN. What's the procedure regarding adding this to my conditions?
Right. I mean, adding the condition to the medical records, I presume.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you're going through the process, is that, am I gonna just take a shot at it from that perspective?
Yes, 70%.
Yeah. So if you're going through the process for Social Security disability and you have a new condition, or even if you have a condition that is increased in severity or something else that's a mover, when you start the process, you receive a document that has a barcode on it. And if you're working your application on your own, you just take a copy of your medical records, put the barcode on it. It's best to fax it in there because it goes right into your case file and you'll have a track record of it. If you're working with a disability representative, I would have them submit it on your behalf, hold them accountable for making sure that it's in there.
All right. Last 2 questions. Is it iffy if a SSDI recipient to take a different job under SGA, even though they've been working in a part-time job for a year and 10 months?
What
Is
was
the
the
word iffy?
iffy?
Yeah. Is it iffy if a SSDI recipient to take a different job under SGA, even though they've been working in the part-time job for a year and 10 months?
No, it's not iffy.
No, no.
The only thing that would be iffy if it was a new job and it put them over the
Yeah,
yay.
yeah. The only if I have is for Philip, like if I should have a glass of that red wine by you, or if I should have a glass of white, or maybe both.
Yeah, go for the gusto. You go for both.
All right, last question, you guys. If assets are not in your name, will that count against you? The assets would be in an LLC's name. LLC's name, sorry.
That's very touchy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very touchy. I mean, who owns the LLC? If your name's anywhere on it and you own it and you're trying to hide it, they're pretty good at finding stuff. It's not their first rodeo in doing this, looking for assets and deeming and all of that. And definitely another thing that you want to be very careful about is, let's say, I'm not suggesting that you are going, and this is what you're doing. But if you do something and it's not set up so that it's proper and it's legal and you get away with it, they can come back to you for an overpayment, and they'll come back for overpayments. Just follow Charles Hall's blog. It could be 20, 30 years. You know, if they figure it out, they'll come knocking. My best advice is just, again, know the rules, follow them. Yeah.
Right.
So, all right, is that it for today's program?
Make sure that they're journaling.
Yes.
Make sure
Last
that,
one.
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
go
Go
ahead.
on, Dav.
Go
Oh,
ahead, Jen.
I'm wondering how new medical problems and worsening initial conditions that got me SSDI are addressed during a continuing disability review.
Same way they would be if you're approved. I mean, if your severity is increased and you have different conditions, that's one thing. But again, like Philip had said, it is the limitations that are caused by those conditions. How do they further limit your ability to work? So if you had, if you got approved and you didn't have any muscular skeletal issues or like in your lower back, and now you have degenerative disc disease and it limits you from, so something like that is a new limitation. That's how to focus your communication to help them understand your situation.
That's when they put doing the function report.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Good. Listen, we're gonna wrap up. I want to be respectful of Daphne and Philip's time, and certainly Jam. I would thank the three of you for your contribution, for everybody that's out there. They deserve a standing ovation, if you would. So I thank you for everything that you've done here today. And for those of you that are listening, I see 543 now out on our YouTube channel. I don't know how many on Facebook. But it's beautiful. Thank you for spending time with us today. I hope that this has helped you understand some ways in which you can maximize your benefits, understand that notice of change, review your options, make sure that you're getting all that you're entitled to, understand the rules. Stay tuned here. We'll be here to help you out. So for next week, folks, he finally committed to coming back. It's industry expert Mark Snearowicz. He has worked with us here and other companies to help people understand their Medicare benefits. So he's going to have a different approach next week. He's going to talk about such things like what you are entitled to, the difference between like a Medigap plan and who that might